And how you doing, guys? We're back for another review. This time it is a booze review, a whiskey review to be exact, and to be even more exact, a Scotch review. Today we are doing the newest in the lineup from a very distinguished distillery from Orkney, of all places, the Orkney Islands, Highland Park. This is Highland Park 10-year-old single malt Scotch. So yes, Orkney, collection of islands, very northern part of Scotland. Beer drinkers would be familiar with Skull Splitter that comes from Orkney. Highland Park is a very well regarded brand. I think it's their 12 I've done before in my reviews. They're very expensive. That's the thing. Very elaborately packaged, incredibly expensive. But this whiskey is, like I said, their newest one. Showed up late last year. I think it was fall 2013 that it showed up in the Canadian market, and showed up for $62 something, which is actually pretty damn dirt cheap for a Highland Park. Most Highland Parks are 80 and up, somewhere around there. And even then, I waited until this went on sale, and then I bought some for $58 or something like that. I paid for it. But yeah, this is their 10-year-old, 40% ABV, so 80 proof. I assume it's chill filtered. Highland Park says that their process of chill filtering is different than most chill filtering processes, where it doesn't actually affect the flavor. I call bullshit on that, but who really cares? I don't care that much. They do make a point to say that they did not put any E150 in this. No caramel coloring at all. Everything you see in this whiskey is from the barrels that it's in. So they have a big thing on here. The interesting thing here is we insist on an uncompromising approach to whiskey making. We're one of only a handful of distilleries that slowly malts its barley on a stone floor, turning it by hand, and thereby delivering a more balanced flavor. Next, we smoke the barley over aromatic peat, hand cut from Hobster Moor, to bring a unique, fragrant heather character to the whiskey. Yeah, I don't need to know that. And they use sherry oak cask from Spain. And then they let it sit for 10 years. Apparently there's also American wood used in this one. I don't know the exact process. Now the reason this is in the market is apparently they wanted to provide a product that would, I mean, this is honestly, I don't know if this is exactly why they're doing it, because I don't see them saying this, but the impression I get is that they wanted to put a product out in the market that was more affordable and that could compete with Glenfiddich, Glenlivet scotches like that, that are more budget priced in a way, more standardized. So that seems to be what they're doing here. Very nice looking bottle, very nice looking label. I mean, Highland Park, honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm paying an extra $20 just for the presentation alone, because they got the fancy tube, they got the fancy labeling, fancy bottle, everything looks beautiful. Distilled in Kirkwall from Orkney. And they guarantee it's distilled from the finest homegrown malts. Yeah, so it looks very nice. So I have it poured out here now. I've had it sit for a little while, just to let it warm up. So you can definitely see the legs in the glass. You can pretty much tell looking at it that it is not caramel colored. I mean, that is actually fairly light golden straw color, approaching amber. Looks very nice. American, I don't know if it's American bourbon casks or just standard American oak, but I'm pretty sure there is American wood employed in this, and that's why you're getting that color. If it was purely like European sherry casks or whatever, you would get a much redder color. Even at 10 years. 10 years is enough to really impart that sort of color. So it looks very nice. So we'll go right to the aroma. Cheers. Yeah. So it smells very nice. Right off the bat, you do get a heather character to it. There is a very nice little heather note, a little bit sweet, flowery heather. It moves over to caramel, butterscotch, very prominent in this. I'm not really getting a lot of the smoke from the peat in the actual aroma. There's a little underlying bit of it mixed with the wood in the background. But mostly I think it's the sherry notes here that are dominating. They're bringing up that sort of heathery smell, bringing up that sort of sweetness, caramel. Also getting a very nice citrus note. If you draw on it for a long while, personally I'm getting a bit of a lemony citrus note to it. But it's not lemony in the sense that it's, you know, sour or anything like that. It's just like this fresh, sort of zesty lemon smell, like maybe you'd get from. I hate to use this sort of note when I'm saying this, but like lemon floor cleaner or something like that, like a good one that doesn't smell chemically or, you know, some sort of antiseptic kind of thing. I mean, that's the one I gravitate to because I'm not a big fan of lemon flavored anything really as far as food goes, so I don't eat a lot of like lemon sweets or drink a lot of lemon flavored anything. So I have to go with what I'm more familiar with that gives off lemon scents, right? So that's what I'm getting from this. It's very nice. It's not particularly complex or amazing, but it is nice. It's got a little bit of everything it says it should. It's got the lemony, citrusy character, a little bit of butterscotch, heather, a little bit of smoke and wood in the back. Just a little bit of that peat creeping up, but not a lot of it. So we're going to go right to the taste. Cheers. It is tasty. It is very good. It's got a nice sort of lower medium mouthfeel. It's slightly chewy. Right up front, more of that butterscotch character really comes out. A little bit of honeyed, heathery sweetness to it. Getting more caramel as well. I'm getting a little bit of alcohol heat on the sides of the mouth. I'm definitely feeling warmth going down. But it's not off-putting or anything like that. It's just very nice and pleasant. And definitely, as you drink it, the peat, it actually comes up. You get a little bit of this nice smokiness from the peat. Really comes out in the finish. Mixes with the wood, and in fact it lingers and pretty much dominates the finish. The sweetness drops off and the peat character actually comes out. It's not a big peat character, don't get me wrong. It's not anywhere near anything from Islay. It's not Lafroig. It's not Ardbeg. It's not Lagavulin. It's just a nice little peat accent that mixes with the wood in the back. Honestly, the sherry character in this is not particularly big. It seems like if it's there, all it is propping up some of the other notes. It's very nice. It's not big and complex. So if you're looking for that, I'd stay away from this. But as far as what it's supposed to be, it's actually an excellent little entry-level whiskey, and I think that's definitely what the intention here was from Highland Park. They wanted to make a more affordable entry-level Scotch for people. You know, forget Glenlivet, forget Glenfiddich. Try our one instead, and see if you like it. Then maybe you'll be willing to shell out the bigger bucks for our 12 and our 18 and their 20, whatever, and their bigger range of stuff that is super fucking expensive. But yeah, as a whiskey goes, man, as a single malt Scotch, it touches a little on notes that are more expanded. I've had their 12, I've had their 8, a little bit of their 18, so I can say that some of the stuff in here is basically foreshadowing what you'll get in the older stuff in the range. So it is a good introduction not only to Scotch, it's a good introduction to the Highland Park range. So in that regard, it's very, very nice. I'm going to go as far as a B plus on this. I mean, it's not a world beater, but as far as the sort of introductory Scotch range goes, it's a really good stuff. Yeah. So if you can find it, it's actually really worth picking up. It's a good one to have on your shelf as well as an everyday drinker. I mean, I know some people who buy, if they buy a lot of whiskeys, sometimes they'll have a couple of okay blends on their shelf for guests and for the occasional time when they get desperate and they want to dig into something. This is a good one to have where not only can you share it with your guests and they'll probably enjoy it without mixing it, of course, and it's definitely a nice little backup whiskey for you if you don't have the money right away to pick up your Lafroigs or your higher range ones from Highland Park. This is a good one just to have sitting around in a pinch, definitely. I will say this, not a good idea to add water to this one, unless you really want to kill it. I added a few drops of water to it, and I don't know, just personally myself, when I added the water to it, all it really did was make the citrus notes in the aroma become basically the only thing in the aroma, and it brought out the smokiness of the peat in the actual taste and pretty much dominated the taste with that. So it took a 3 or 4 note whiskey and turned it into a 2-note whiskey by adding water to it. So you just want to do this one neat, forget the water. So Highland Park 10, I'm gonna give that a B plus. It's a solid whiskey, solid Scotch, good value for what you're getting, which is not necessarily something I can say about all Highland Park products. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later. Bye bye.